Today we're diving deeper into the fallout from Drake's latest album, and there is a lot to unpack. Rick Ross continued his downward spiral. Drake broke a new streaming record, though not exactly the kind you'd want to celebrate, and that triggered some of Kendrick Lamar's camp to come out swinging. We'll also get into a record Drake did set that works in his favor, a warning that came from one of Kendrick's associates, some suspicious timing from the RIAA that I'll let you judge for yourself, accusations of Drake stealing, Eminem continuing to prove that rappers in their 50s can still dominate, and critics weighing in on both the Eminem and Drake projects. A lot to get through, so before we jump in, hit that like button, subscribe for more, and join the channel to unlock OG status. Alright, starting with Drake. After breaking the record for the biggest single-day streams ever for a rap song on global Spotify, surpassing Kendrick's Not Like Us, Drake turned around and set another record, though this one tells a very different story. Make Them Cry is now responsible for the largest percentage drop ever recorded for a #1 song on the Spotify global chart, falling by 62.53%. That breaks the previous record held by Harry Styles, and the people who have been waiting for any sign of weakness from Drake were not slow to respond. Rick Ross jumped on his Instagram stories immediately, tagged what appeared to be references to Drake, and flooded the post with crying emojis. We'll get into more of what Ross has been up to in a moment, but Kendrick's side was also quick to pile on. Hitter J3, who was featured on Kendrick's GNX, went straight at it, questioning what happened to the streams overnight and calling for accountability around what he described as bot activity. Kendrick associate and rapper Glasses Malone also broke down the numbers side by side. According to his post, on day 1, GNX pulled 74 million streams across its 12 tracks, while Drake's Iceman pulled 140 million across 18 tracks. By day 2, GNX dropped to 60 million, while Iceman fell sharply to 70 million, and by day 3, GNX sat at 52 million, while Iceman slipped to 50 million, making it a near-dead heat. Glasses Malone's conclusion? That's the difference between fast food and real food. Real food sticks. And the double standards on both sides of this have been genuinely entertaining to watch. One day streaming numbers are the ultimate measure of greatness, the next day they're completely irrelevant. It shifts depending on who's winning that particular news cycle. Even some Kendrick fans were posting memes about Drake's numbers dropping from 13.2 million down to 4.9 million, which only added to the chaos. Outlets like Popcorn also got in on the setup, using data to show how BTS managed to hold on to the vast majority of their audience across the first week of release compared to Drake's Iceman, framing it as further evidence of an unusual drop-off in engagement.
You know you can't be prosecuted for that!
And to make it even more remarkable, Drake's own songs are currently competing against each other for the #1 spot. That is a genuinely historic projection, no matter how you look at it. And Charleston White was out here making sure Drake got his credit for it.
Down and take over, man. Just chopping game and giving game. Yeah. Say, man, you keep holding your head up. You the best. Don't let them tell you nothing else. You the best. Yeah, if you were black as Bernie Mac, they'll hug on you, but you a yellow nigga doing it like that. Yeah. If Michael Jordan was a yellow nigga jumping from the free throw line, they wouldn't wear a tennis shoe.
But let's circle back to Kendrick's associate, J3, because he wasn't done. He went on a full rant, and it covered a lot of ground. He took shots at the ghostwriting allegations, saying he hopes whoever wrote the lyrics gets their proper credit this time around. He suggested that if the goal was to suddenly sound like a street rapper, Drake could have just had the game write some verses for him. He pointed out that it took 2 full years to respond, and argued that instead of throwing indirect shots, the time should have been spent on a genuine reinvention. He then credited Kendrick's pressure for essentially pushing Drake to release 3 projects, telling people they should be thanking Kendrick for that. He also brought up Future, referenced Like That as the moment that started everything, and argued that everything Drake put out only confirmed what Kendrick had already proven about him. He closed that part out by reminding everyone who waved the white flag first, and said that continuing to throw shots from that position is exactly what a coward does. As for the chart numbers, his take was simple. Anybody with enough money can buy their way to #1. That's just something they don't advertise openly. That last point is what really set things off, because Drake fans went back and found old tweets from J3 celebrating Kendrick's streaming numbers during his big run, and they did not let it slide. The clapback was immediate and pointed. When Kendrick was riding high, numbers and charts were the gold standard. Now that the shoe was on the other foot, suddenly none of it matters. The hypocrisy was on full display, and people were not shy about calling it out. It got even more personal when people remembered that J3 isn't just a commentator, he's also a rapper. So the ratio came fast and came hard. Users were asking why he doesn't do those kinds of numbers himself if charts are so meaningless. The ratio completed itself, and it wasn't pretty.
Bruh. Not gonna lie, you got me fucked up. So when I made the intro to my first album, about a year and a half ago, Drake was hitting me up around the time and wanted to hear music, a Drake producer. So I sent 10 songs through, and they was all finna be on my album because I didn't want nobody to steal my shit because I know how people move. So, boom. The one they took a liking to was the intro. Now the intro still dropped. I said, no, you can't have this song. He wanted me on his album still. He said, I'm gonna send you a verse through. Never sent a verse. I didn't give a fuck till I just went and listened to Iceman, and I listened to Little Birdie, and then I went back and listened to the intro of my first album. Twin. That's the only beat I've ever produced and sat there and produced. Don't rip my shit and repitch it like that, fam. That's fried. That's fried.
The song at the center of the accusation is Little Birdie. And to be fair, that track did stand out on Iceman in a way that was hard to ignore. The beat, the flow, the overall sound, it felt like it belonged on a completely different project. Now, that's not a statement about whether Drake actually took anything, but it genuinely didn't sound like Drake. It sounded a lot closer to Kodak Black's lane than anything Drake has typically delivered. Make of that what you will. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Now let's talk about Rick Ross, because this situation keeps getting worse for him. It really started when Ross set himself up by publicly claiming that nobody actually wants to see Drake lose, and then turned around and started completely unraveling the moment he got cooked on Iceman. The contradiction was impossible to miss, and people pounced on it immediately. With 50 Cent unavailable to trade shots with, and Drake showing zero interest in giving him any attention, Ross has now shifted his focus toward Rory and Mal, who called him out directly for being all over the place with his positions. And at this point, it's becoming increasingly clear that Ross is just grabbing onto whatever is within reach. The clout...
Let me go out here in the ocean and see if it's any seaweed that needs to be cleaned up, because I know I got some minions that would love to clean the seaweed up. Barefoot Chronicles, Barefoot Chronicles. Let me see if there's any seaweed for the white boy and the black minions. Oh, I got motion. Rory and Mally Miles. I got this right here. Come get a rake and you get this up. And we hate people who litter in our beautiful backyard. So Rory, Mally, come get this up. Yep. But this is a great opportunity, Mally. So Mally, a friend of mine asked me to spare your brother, but I don't have to spare your mother. Yeah, your mother, Mally. So your mother, I want her behind the bar 7 Luke Belair and changing the channel. I don't want the remote. I want your mother, Mally, doing that. The white boy could be on the grill. The dude that sit on the floor, he could just get the algae and seaweed out of the ocean. I want him to get all the seaweed from over there to over there. And I want your mom, tell your mama, yeah, your mama, to come cut on forensic files right now. Right now, Mally. Somebody do me a favor and Google Mally's mom's name and where she works. Because I want her to come and cut on the Kevin Hart roast. I want the Kevin Hart roast on. I don't want to use this no more. Rory, Mally, the Joe Button Jr. Varsity Squad. Come on now. Come on, guys. Look at this. I'm not good at this. There you go. This is the last time I'll be doing this. Mally. Come on now, mommy. Come on, mommy. No, Mally, Rory, Mally. This book is in stores, and what I want your mama to do, Mally, I want your mama to read 8 chapters on my live. On my live. How you think that'd sound, bro? Would that be dope? Okay. Mally, I want your mama to read 8 chapters of the best book of the year. See that? A Change in Plans. No, this chapter 10. Yeah. No, my apologies. I wanted to read 10 chapters. So we'll go to 11. Hey, Mally, I'm using your mama for marketing and promotions. AllHipHop.com, they posted. Too Cool to Blog, they posted. Joe Budden, what he do? These the Joe Budden Jr. Varsity, and so you are Glazers. You're Glazers. You're Glazers. I'm using your mama for marketing and promotions. My car show is June 13th. Your mama's a Glazer. Put a smile on that. Your mama's a Glazer. You smiling? Hey, Mally, your mama MMG. Your mama MMG, nigga. Your mama made now. Your mama made. You heard? Mally, listen up. And it's not a diss. Since your mama's MMG, it's only right other members from MMG say we need to send your mom a care package. So this what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna send her all of the slippery soaps. Cost her nothing. And this is our new beer, South Beach Brew. It's the best. It's actually amazing. So we celebrating Mally, Rory.
Ross took it a step further by digging up and posting about Rory's past, specifically resurfacing the story of Rory Farrell's public apology after old tweets containing racist remarks directed at black women came back to light. And Ross didn't.
Black women, roaches, and cockroaches, and termites. How dare you? White boy Rory now, Rose want to interview with you. You disrespected black women like that with the other Mally right there? That's what this is? You can't speak on made niggas. Now, this is what I'm gonna do for y'all. I'm gonna give y'all enough content where y'all gonna have a whole season just on Rose, and I'm gonna do that for free. And don't forget, your mama is being used for marketing. I'm using your mama, Mally. And now, Worry, you said what about a black queen? You're not cutting no weave out of they. Wow, they just sent me this. And somebody that went to school with you sent me this. White boy. Hey, white boy Worry. You saying all these racist and negative things about black women, but your baby mama, from what someone close to you said, your baby mama, Kaya Jacobs, she feels a way about you too, white boy. I'm gonna give you some content. When I'm through with you, oh yeah, Mal. I told you I don't want to use my TV remote no more. Your mama gonna change my channels. Your mama.
Where he said I was aiding Ross with streams even before aiding Ross was streaming. That was trash, boss? Because I don't think so. I think that was very cleverly written. I was aiding Ross with streams even before aiding Ross was streaming? Why you didn't quote that? That's why you was back in your feelings because he said that? This is wrong for saying you weird because one day you saying, yo, play the song without the Drake, sing the little boy part. You disrespected a nigga one day. The next day you on the radio talking about, homie, if you can hear this shine, do your thing, no real want to see you lose. Trying to sound all cool and shit. Then when the album drop, you on the internet hating. And niggas is wrong for saying you weird. Can't say you publicly did that. If you would have did that on your own time, we can't say nothing about that. If you don't get on the internet and say, shine, homie, don't know real, wanna see you lose. If you don't get on the internet and say that, can't nobody say you being weird. Yeah, because if you take it off the side, I don't want to play this verses. That's your right as a man, nigga. That's a right as an artist, as a man. I don't want that nigga vocals on my song. Okay, cool. You pick the position, stay there. But then the very next day, yo, homie, don't know real, want to see you lose. But you don't consider yourself a real Cause soon as the album came out, you started talking like you ain't like that. Like you don't like the album, like you glad, oh, you're washed, blah, 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 blah. Like what? Come on. I thought, that's why I said what I said. I'm standing on what I said. You call my man Rory and Maul glazes. I'm from the streets. When you eat with it, you draw heat with it. Respectfully, y'all not gonna be on the internet talking crazy about Rory and Maul. I'm not going for that. I'm not going for that. Call them clay glazers, dope goats and all that, and you was a corrections officer before. Now, I don't feel like there's nothing wrong with having a job. If you got a job, if you are a current correction officer, do your thing, whatever. But you can't be calling imaginary glazers when your real job was watching Wee Wee before. You really had to watch Wee Wee. Like, you cannot say, oh, I never did that. Get out of here. Ain't no correction officer on the planet gonna say he ain't never strip searched no inmates. He ain't gonna tell me that. And I'm saying now, I said you might have been a urine police. I don't know if you ever did that, but did they ever make you do that? Because you calling niggas imaginary wee-wee suckers and all that, but you really had to look at wee-wees and all of that before. That's something you should have never said out your mouth. Glazing. Was you glazing when you, shine, homie, don't know real, wanna see you lose. You wasn't glazing when you were saying that? What was that? French still rock with you, homie. What was that? That's not glazing? Come on, man. It's crazy. Yo, listen. Rory and Maul is not gonna be the butt of y'all niggas' jokes. I'm letting y'all know that right now. It's a few of y'all that used to have things y'all wanted to say about Rory and Maul, slick shit y'all wanted to say about Rory and Maul. Just know that when you say some slick shit about Rory and Maul, just say Zip too. Zip, and you too, Zip. Cause I'm on your ass when you do anyway, regardless if you say it or not. Regardless if you say it or not. If you say something about...
And adding another layer to the conversation, Pitchfork went ahead and gave both Iceman and Eminem's The Death of Slim Shady the exact same score, 4.8 out of 10. And that sparked a debate worth having. The talking point that emerged was straightforward. Two of the highest-selling rappers in the game received identical scores from one of the most influential critical outlets in music. So the question became, do the critics have a genuine agenda against these artists, or are the ratings actually fair? And honestly, when it comes to Eminem, there has been a documented pattern of critical dismissal stretching back decades. As for Drake, given that he went up against Universal Music Group, it wouldn't be surprising at all if legacy media outlets are inclined to work against him, because maintaining their access to the industry depends on staying in good standing with the major labels. That said, Drake has never been a critical darling to begin with, so his fan base would argue the bias has always been there regardless. And some people expanded on the Eminem angle specifically, pointing to Pitchfork's notoriously harsh review of Recovery, an album that went on to become the best-selling record of its entire year and still has songs people are actively listening to more than 16 years later. Meanwhile, Pitchfork has consistently shown a strong preference for a particular lane of hip-hop, and depending on who you ask, the highest-rated mainstream rap album of the decade from that outlet reflects exactly that preference. You already know which album and which rapper we're talking about. Producer and industry figure Boy Wonder also weighed in on the review situation via his Instagram stories, simply posting laughing emojis alongside the question of who exactly they have reviewing hip-hop albums over there. And that reaction